grabbed her husband. He barely made a sound before his throat was cut. I gasped and blinked again. The daylight was back, and the bloodstains were all that was left. I wanted to get out of that house as fast as I could fly, but for some reason I stayed. I felt like there was a reason for me being there. The bloodstains on the floor, on the bed, and the walls were screaming at me. I couldn't get the screams out of my head. I flew back in the corridor and stayed until my head was quiet. Pictures kept flashing before my eyes. The killer had cut the husband's throat and then stabbed the wife in the bed, right in her stomach as she tried to rise and run for help. Then what? I looked at the door to the next room. I swallowed hard. Had he gone in there next? I pushed the door open and gasped. Bloodstains covered the pink heart-shaped rug on the floor of this room. It belonged to a teenage girl by the look of the posters, makeup, and mirrors. A series of rapid pictures entered my head like a small movie. Quick footsteps toward the door. The door being kicked open. An empty room. Fast steps toward the bed, and the killer reached down to grab a hand. Then someone was pulled, screaming, out from under the bed. It was a girl. I blinked again and it was gone. The scream remained in my head. My heart raced. I thought I heard voices everywhere. People fighting for their lives, struggling to keep death out. A mother crawling on the floor to the room next door, trying to save her daughter while her own life was running out. My stomach hurt from all the pain in this house. Who were these people? Why was I here? Who was the girl? Far away from the scene, in a completely different realm, I woke with a start. I lay flat on my back, breathing like I had been running for my life. I sat up and realized I was still in my bed at the White Castle. I closed my eyes tightly and tried to remember what the people in my dream had looked like. I had only really seen the husband, but even his face was just a blur to me. It was impossible. All the dream had left me was a feeling of horror I couldn't escape. It was in my body, and it felt like a constant chill, as if an ice cube was sliding slowly down my back. Who were those people? Had it happened for real, or was it just my imagination? I had never dreamed anything this vividly before, not even in my nightmares about my parents that had haunted me ever since I died and came back to the academy. Come to think of it, it was the first time I had dreamed about anything else than about my parents looking for me in the forest. Why was I suddenly dreaming about something else? Why now? I put my face in my hands, blocking out the dormitory with my heavily sleeping classmates. I tried to hold on to that picture of the husband in the dimly lit bedroom, tried to hold on to his face. Was it familiar to me? Had I known him? But it was like trying to hold on to water. It slowly slipped out. All the details of his face disappeared. If I only had the chance to see his eyes. But there hadn't been enough light for that. Was there something else that I could recognize? Something in the house, maybe? Did I know these victims? Or did I know the house, the neighbors, or maybe even the killer? I lowered my hands from my face and opened my eyes. Acacia, May, and Jacqueline were still sleeping. Next to my bed, I had piled all of my books, ready for the first day of school. The third and final year at the academy was ahead of us. That final year where we would graduate and finally get our file. Finally get to know who we used to be on Earth and how we died. One book was open. I had read from it before I fell asleep. Dream a Little Dream of Me. What a Spirit Should Know About Dream Catching, Volume 1. An old lady in the picture stared at me, and I closed it. Dream catching was one of the new classes we had to take as third-year students. I looked forward to that. Was it what I read in the book before bed that had caused me to have this strange and horrifying dream? I got out of the bed and flew to my favorite